Chitranga is here with us and he's going to be answering the same question. Chitranga, when it comes to children, when it comes to women, when it comes to the common man of Sri Lanka, what is their plight at this point?
Yes, as you're right in asking this question. As I've been talking to you earlier as well, none of what has happened yesterday has changed the reality of Sri Lanka. We are still in that same situation. And before I got cut off earlier, the point that I was trying to make is exactly the same. We need to see now who is going to talk to the IMF, who is going to continue the relationship with India, who is going to continue the relationship with China, Japan, even the Middle East, to get us out of this mess. As I pointed this out to you earlier as well. I pointed out the location importance. And as you can see, this is a main road. And look at the number of vehicles that are passing me when I'm speaking to you. It's like a scattered between 5-10 vehicles going at one time. This is a main road in Colombo. We do not have fuel. All of these houses, all of these people are walking for kilometers to get to locations because they can't find fuel. We ourselves, journalists, irrespective of where they are, we have to ride bicycles and get from point A to point B. Yes, Sri Lanka is a small country. Yes, Colombo can be considered a small area. But nevertheless, we were never in this situation even during a 30-year-long war. Yes, times were difficult, but it has never been this difficult. And I think what needs to be understood right now is the support that we have from countries like India, the international support, the multilateral support that we have needs to come in. It needs to come and sort of help Sri Lanka, because right now the politicians have tried. The democracy has sort of tried its way, and it got ugly yesterday, true, but there are certain things that have come out of it as a result. But that does not mean that victory is the battle is won. It does not mean that everything is now hunky-dory and back to normal. We are still in that same problem as we are speaking. So we have to come out of it, and that will take a bit of time.
All right. Hold on right there. We'll get you patched back on the broadcast in just moments from now. For the viewers who have just tuned in, as our reporters have been mentioning, the crisis has gripped Sri Lanka completely. Lankan President Gotabaya fled as soon as the protesters stormed Presidential House. But the question is, where is Gotabaya Rajapaksa? Reports have surfaced that luggage was rushed to the Sri Lanka Navy ship Gajabahu, anchored at the Colombo port, believed to be Gotabaya's. VIP vehicles were seen speeding on the Colombo-Negombo highway towards the airport too. Rajapaksa, who's facing calls for resignation, was using the President's house as his residence and office. He's agreed to resign on Wednesday. Sri Lanka has plunged into a total chaos and political turmoil amidst economic crisis. President Gotabaya's whereabouts are unknown after protesters stormed to the presidential palace. Here's a report.
The most defining image of the Sri Lankan crisis yet. Thousands of angry citizens laying siege to the residence of their president, Gotabaya Rajapaksa. Defying tear gas and water cannons, protesters breached the security of the presidential palace and ransacked the property. Waving Sri Lankan flags, protesters stormed the lobby, chanting, "Gota, go home." With the president absconding, the protesters decided to cool off, taking a dip in the presidential pool. Next, they got a taste of royalty as they headed to the kitchen of the palace. Then, it was the turn of the presidential suites, waving and posing for the cameras. The sprawling sea-facing estate was teeming with protesters. Some were hanging out on the balconies waving the Lankan flag. The presidential palace was renovated in 2015 by China, under whose stead, ironically, Sri Lanka is currently reeling. it is one of the biggest reasons for the country's financial crisis. With the president fleeing, what's left behind is this: a fleet of luxury cars that he possibly couldn't have taken with him, and a country grappling with high inflation, leading to a scarcity of food, fuel and even medicines. Bureau Report, India Today.